Okay, ready to roll. So we are in Ein Chet Amud Aleph, 78a, and we are. Well, we're in the story over here with kind of reviewing. According to Bet Shammai, he does not have the Gzera Shabbat, does not connect Nedarim to Shchutei Chutz, and therefore we have to know, according to Bet Shammai, where does he learn? If we could go up from there 3, 6, 9, 10 lines up from the bottom. Ela lebet Shammai leachshir gimel hediotot minalan. According to Bet Shammai, where do we know that that 3 regular people could do Hatarat Nedarim? Because we saw that according to the Tanakama, that it was from the pasuk of Shchutei Chutz, Daber el Aaron, the Banav, the Kol Yisrael. We don't have that by Nedarim. So if you're not learning from there, then where do you know that 3 regular people could do Hatarat Nedarim? Meaning the one Talmid Chacham that comes from Rashi Hamatot, that's in Nedarim. Rashi Hamatot of Bnei Yisrael, Zeh Adavar. So that's Rashi Hamatot, the heads of the nation. So that's a Talmid Chacham. That's a Yachid Mumche that you want to do. Oh, there, look what's going on over here. Whole room of Torah learning. Already now? You want to try it out one time? Try it out one time. In yeshiva, there's a lot of learning, and then you got to learn how to filter it out. 1,000 guys learning in one room, you got to learn how to filter it out. So Baruch Hashem, let's try. You good? Okay. Okay. Don't put me on mute, put you on mute.
Works both ways.
Okay, so we want to figure out where according to Bet Shammai, where does he get that 3 regular people could do Hatarat Nedarim? So the Gemara says, Minalan nafkalu mid Rav Asi bar Natan, Rav Asi bar Natan dichtiv vaydaber Moshe et Moadei Hashem al Bnei Yisrael. Moshe talked about the Moadim, the Chagim to the Jewish nation. Ve'atanya, Rav Yossi Haglili Omer. Rav Yossi Haglili said, Moadei Ne'emru, V'lo Ne'emra Shabbat V'Reshit Imahen. Shabbat was not said with the Moadim. Ben Azai Omer, Moadei Ne'emru, V'lo Ne'emra Parsha Nedarim Imahem. The Moadim were mentioned, but Nedarim was not mentioned. Rav Asi bar Natan, Kasher le Hametnita. Rav Asi bar Natan, he was bothered with this Mishnah. He said, what's the connection between Moadim and Nedarim? Ata le Neharda le Kamed Rav Sheshet. He went to Neharda to go to Rav Sheshet to ask him. He didn't find him. Ata Abatre le Mechuzah. He went after him all the way to Mechuzah. And he found him. Amar le, Moadei Hashem ne'emru, lo ne'emra Shabbat Bereshit Imahen. The teaching was that it talks about the Chagim, but it doesn't talk about Shabbat. Ve'aktiv Shabbat Iman, but Shabbat is written with them. And that's what the Ran says. Shabbat is written with them in Parashat Emor. Parashat Emor, Shabbat is written with the Chagim. So right after it's written, Vetu, 2 lines up from the Gemara. Vetu, and also Moadei Hashem ne'emru, v'lo ne'emra Parashat Nedarim imahem. That it talks about. So you said in the Braita that Moadim are spoken about, and not the Nedarim. V'hamisitraktiva. It's written right there beside, and that's the next run says that the parasha of the Moadim are in Pinchas, and Rashi Matot is Parashat Matot talks about Nedarim. So it's right there. So it's right beside. Answers the Gemara, and this is Rav Sheshet answering back to Rav Asi bar Natan. Amar le Hachiktani. No, this is what I meant to say. Moadei Hashem tzrichim kiddush bedin. Shabbat Bereshit and tzricha kiddush bedin. Moadei Hashem is different than Shabbat. Moadei Hashem needs kiddush bedin, needs the bedin to establish that it's a new month, And therefore, now that I know it's a new month, I count 15 days from there. Now I get to Nisan. Sorry, now I get to Pesach. All right, counting by the month of Tishrei. I establish a new month. I count 10 days from there. It's Yom Kippur, etc. You need to establish a new month. That's Kiddush HaChodesh. And now you could establish a Chagim based on that. Shabbat Bereshit and Atzricha Kiddush Bedin. Shabbat does not need Bedin. You know, every 7 days is Shabbat. So, what the Braita is saying is that there is a disconnect between Moadim and Shabbat. There's a fundamental difference. Also, what's the difference between Moadim and Nedarim? Continuing the Gemara, Moadei Hashem tzrichim mumche, Ven Parashat Nedarim tzrichim mumche. For Moadim, in order to establish Chagim, you need a mumche. You need a Tamir Chacham in the Bedin to make the actual new month. Ven Parashat Nedarim tzrichim mumche. But Nedarim does not need a mumche. Afilu Bedin edyotot. Even a Bedin of regular people works for Nedarim. So, a Bedin of regular people even works for Nedarim. Says the Gemara, "Ve'hab parashat Nedarim, ve'hab parashat Nedarim Rashi Matot ktiv." But hold on, it says by Nedarim Rashi Matot. Amar Rav Chizda, v'yitim Rav Yochanan. Says Rav Chizda, some say to Rav Yochanan, be'yachid mumche. No, Rashi Matot teaches us yachid mumche, that if you want to go to one person to undo your neder, and he needs to be a Tamir Chacham, like a head of the tribe. But regularly, you could get 3 regular people. So basically, our question was, Bet Shammai, you do not connect Shchutei Chutz and Nedarim, and therefore you don't have a teaching, you don't have a source for teaching us where 3 regular people could undo a neder. Where is that source? So they have this Braita, and basically Rosh Hashanah answers that when the Braita told us that there's a difference between Moadim and Nedarim, what's the, like, so we said, what do you mean? Nedarim are mentioned right after Moadim. Yeah, you know why it's mentioned right after? Because there's a difference. Because Moadim, you need proper Dayanim. Nedarim is even with regular people. And that teaches us you can use regular people for Hatara Nedarim. So
is it the opinion of Shammai?
Yes, yeah, that's in Bet Shammai, that he doesn't have a pasuk, but he has this teaching of the why Nedarim is disconnected from Moadim, which teaches us that you can use 3 regular dayanim.
Apparently, we are following this.
Well, we're following the concept that you need three regular people. Yes, that was already established before from the earlier pasuk. But here we just want to say, where's the source according to Bet Shammai that 3 regular people? So meaning this where's the source from? We know it. We had another source. The first source was the Gzera Shava, that Nedarim connect the Shchutei Chutz. That was yesterday's Gemara. Today, which we started a little bit yesterday morning, was Bet Shammai. Where's your source? If you don't have that connection, Nedarim and Shchutei Chutz, where's your source? And that's what we just established. Now, the little disconnect between Nedarim and Moadim.
What does it mean,
Okay. So the run is a lengthy run over here, but we started late today, so we're not going to do it. But the basically the run brings down the regular, so the Hedyotot, the regular Dayanim. The regular Dayanim, what were their status? Like the regular guys. So Mumche is. So also, what's a Mumche? Mumche is a Mumche. Yeah, sorry. The thing is in Mumche. The Machloket is Mumche. What is considered a Mumche? A Mumche means a professional, a Chacham. The Ran says he needs to be on the level of doing Moadim. So if you're on that level, then you're a level that you could, on your own, do Atar Nedarim. The Rambam says, Mumche the Gamir v'Savir, that he learns and he thinks about his learning, that he's a proficient learner. So that is enough, even on his own, to even on his own.
What does it mean? What does it mean doing Muadim? Like deciding on the
Yeah,
Rosh Chodesh?
yeah. You have to be at that level.
Sanhedrin?
That no. Sanhedrin, they came
I think it
to
was
Yerushalayim.
Sanhedrin declaring. People came and ran to the Sanhedrin and showed them out there is.
I don't know if the Sanhedrin or the Beit Din, but you're right. It must have been the central Beit Din in Yerushalayim. Yeah, it must have been. Because then every other Beit Din will make up their own day.
Yeah.
It was the central one. Yeah.
I think it was people telling them.
Yeah,
There's
people
Rosh
came.
Chodesh,
Yeah, that's a new
and
month.
they declared it.
New sun. Yeah, new moon. They get cross-checked, whatever.
That they don't have to be margil
Right,
right, which is a chogan. The Rava Amar, the Rava says mitzvah umro
Okay.
b'fnei Amar. So the first man the Amar, who is the first man the
Okay.
Amar? Rabbi Yochanan, I guess.
Let's continue.
B'davar-
Amar of Chanina.
Or maybe it's Tam and
6
Amar.
lines down.
I'm not sure. Davar is that also Amar.
Amar bi Chanina.
Rava Amar mitzvah umro b'fnei Amar. Because they don't show the kashrut.
Hashotek al menat lemikat. So, if let's say a husband hears his wife make a neder, and he's quiet, like he wants to make it as if he's accepting her neder, but he's quiet really to spite her. Let's see what the Ran has to say about this. 6 lines up from the bottom of the Ran. Amar Yochanan Hashotek al menat lemikat. Kedei le'aknit ishto, to bother his wife, spite his wife, sheteh svura, so that she should think sheda'ato lekayim nedareha, that he's gonna accept my neder. No, he's not intending for that. He's gonna do hafarat nedarim later. Let's say the moment he hears it, he has 24 hours, and he has the end of the day, machloket. So he hears it, and he's quiet. So she thinks she gets accepted. He's only doing that to bother her, and he's gonna do it. He's gonna undo it later. So the Gemara asks that how long do you have? If your intention, so we know it's generally 24 hours, but Gemara says something interesting. Amar v'chanina, it does not seem like we're posek this way. Hashotek al menat lemikat mefer afilu mikan ve'ad yud yamin. Till 10 days you have. 10 days to bother her.
Just that much.
Just that.
There's not the explanation of why 10?
Yeah, why 10 exactly?
Then how do you prove? Does anybody
From the
come-
moment. How do you prove that? I had an intention to be spiteful.
It's not something that like is a verbal statement that you can say I
Right.
said it or it's just
You
shtika, right?
need to prove it, like,
It's only
because in the end, he has the authority.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, but you have
Chanina.
24 hours. But shtika could mean anything. I don't know. It's very
Okay.
open.
Yeah, I know what you mean about that.
Yeah.
There is no bet in, there is no Hashem, so there is no need to prove it. Also. Like it's between him and Hashem at this point.
And it doesn't seem like we're posek like this. There's no little letter over here for the psak. But yeah, you're right. These are good questions on Rabbi Chanina's explanation as to how do you prove it. What's the difference between him and a regular guy of 24 hours? The Gemara asks a question on it. Metiv Rava. Rava asks a question. In Matai Amru, when did we say, we saw this earlier a few times, when did we say Metabal Nitrokna Reshut Le'av? When both the father and the husband have jurisdiction on her neder. So, if let's say the husband dies while she's in Arusa, we said that Nitrokna Reshut Le'av, that all of the father's power goes to all of the husband's power goes to the father when the husband dies. So when did we say that works? And Matai Amru met Ba'abal Nitrokna Reshut Le'av Bizman Shelo Shama Habal, at a time where the husband didn't hear. If he didn't hear and then he died, all the power goes to the father. Or Shema v'shatak, or he heard and then it was quiet. Or Shema v'hefer umet bo bayom, or he heard he did hafara, but he died that day. So it's still the daytime, and maybe the father, because it's still within the 24 hours, can undo it. Aval shama v'kayam. But if he heard and he was mekayem, meaning he wasn't quiet, wasn't shatak, he didn't do hafara, he was mekayem. He said, I'm establishing your neder. Or sheshama v'shatak umed b'yom shalacharav. Or he heard, he was quiet, and he died the next day. En yachol ha'afer. You can't do hafara anymore. It's already too late. Says the Gemara, my love b'shatek ameret lemikat. Says the Gemara, isn't that talking about a case of being quiet? Maybe you want to be in spite of her. So we just said the guy dies the next day, not 10 days later. This is exactly your questions. And like, how do we know? So maybe the guy could say, "Oh, well, I was just being spiteful." But the Gemara says, if he died the next day, it's over. It's too late. Maybe it's shotek amenat lemikat. And so the Gemara lo b'shotek amenat lekayem. No, the case is that he was shotek with the intention to be mekayem. But also, how do we know that? Iyachi hainu oshama v'kiyem. What do you mean? And that's the case of you heard and you were mekayem. Meaning, if you're shotek al menat lekayem, what does that mean? Iyachi hainu oshotek shama v'kayem. It's the same thing as listening and being mekayem. Ela b'shotek stam. He shotek stam. So it seems like if the guy was shotek stam and then died the next day, you can't do hafara. And it seems like the shotek amenat lemekat has to be that somehow we know that this person was doing it for spiteful reasons, and that's why we give him the extra 10 days. Shotek stam, no, the next day it's gone. Shotek amenat lekayem, that's the kayem.
So, can a woman go to a bet din or a hakam and say, I made this neder, but I was sure that my husband would affect, but he died. Now it's a peta. If I knew that he would die, I wouldn't make this neder. Or if I knew that he would distress me, I wouldn't make this neder. So it's like peta for any neder. How come it can be? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Can you repeat the question again?
Okay. So now, like, this lady, any lady, can make a neder and claim that.
And then the husband hears it, and he's quiet, and he dies.
He dies or not? And say, like, let's say he's distressing, and certain time passed. Can she go and say to a bet din or a chacham that if I knew that he wouldn't like he would distress me, or he wouldn't do that, like he wouldn't do an effort, or he would die, like all these three situations fit into this. I wouldn't do this never. So it's the because it's a situation that
if I would have known that,
because usually if I would have known, it's a peta, no? So can she use this as a peta?
I mean, she doesn't know the guy. I mean, if it was, that's what we're coming out with, that it has to be shotek stam is 1 day. Shotek al menat lekayem means the guy's quiet, but we know he's going to mekayem. We know, somehow we know. Then it's shema v'kayam. Shotek al menat lebekat means we have to know, there has to be something that we know that he's shotek, but he's doing it in spite. There has to be something that, because then otherwise it's shotek stam. I mean, the Gemara over here wanted to ask on Rabbi Chanina, that is, 10 days. What are 10 days? We just see over here the Gemara says the next day, if he dies a day later, then it's over. What do you mean? It should be 10 days. We ended up saying, no, that's shotek stam. Shotek amenat lemekat, that's the exact wording. Amenat lemekat, he wants to do spite, has to be known to us that he wants to somehow be spiteful.
Okay. Maybe you'll say, So, Shem Torah Melech for a Talmud Chacham that was Piresh.
Kiven de Patzak Betani Shema V'Shatak
He won't be needed again. Talmud Lomar, Gam Hila Melech. So even for a Melech, those portions of Torah, we see that in Gehenna. The Shem Torah Inga Eitzim Rabbi, and when Yigmuru Eitzim Rabbi, Talmud Lomar, Medurata, the Eitzim are
Yeah, see, the Ran says it kind of generically, but
maybe this
you know what? I didn't daven Arvi yet. Actually, I was planning on going 9:45 Aguda. If there's six that didn't pray yet, do we have six that didn't pray yet? Did you pray yet?
I did our best.
Did you do Arvi yet?
Yes, I did.
Are you able to stay if we need to? Did you pray Arvi yet? You're able to stay. We have three here that didn't pray yet.
3, 4.
We need two more.
Do we have two more? Daven Arvi already? Rabbi Appel, you daven Arvi already?
Happy to stay.
If you need it.
But you did already.
No.
You didn't daven Arvi yet?
Did you?
That's five. And anyone there that didn't daven yet?
I believe you.
Okay, so we have
Maybe
six.
Yitzchak Nadav.
Okay. Okay, exactly. We're here. Let's just, and this last line of the Ran, it's pretty general, but you see this point. You see, that he's quiet stam. We don't see either way if he was, because we could see, we would be able to see if he's shatak amar lemekat or shatak gamar belibo liot mekayem. Okay.
Because they don't go into the nuances of what.
Yeah, they don't exactly. They don't. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll see more. Maybe let's see more. He talks about. I see. He talks about Shadat Amir al Mekan. Okay, let's see.